Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Hari PS Videos. So previously we discussed basis and pH scale and pH of acids and bases. Then coming to the last part of the chapter, acids, bases and salts is salts. What are salts? Generally, salt is referred. Generally, we feel that salt referred, which gives a taste for the food. Right? Right? Salts are, a salt is a compound formed from an acid by the replacement of the hydrogen in the acid by a metal. For example, say we have taken sodium chloride, it is a common salt. It is common salt, right? So salt is generally and it does not refer for sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is the general name for common salt, chemical name for common salt. So how is common salt or sodium chloride is formed? When HCl, we know that hydrochloric acid, we know HCl is a acid. When this react with sodium hydroxide, what is formed? NaCl plus water. So in HCl is acid. The hydrogen is replaced by a metal. What is here? Sodium is a metal. So in place of hydrogen, sodium is and water is formed. Sodium chloride is formed. Right? So sodium chloride is formed by the reaction between salts are formed when acids are reacts with the bases. Neutralization reaction. In this neutralization reaction, in acid, we know H plus ions are common. Every acid contains H plus ion. This hydrogen is replaced by sodium or any metal. So a new substance is formed. That new substance we can call as salt. Means by the reaction between the acids and bases, a new substance is formed. That new substance we can call as a salt. So we can call it chemical salt. Right. So in a way, we can say that a salt has two parts. The one is an acid and a base. So take the same example, sodium chloride. So in this sodium chloride, it has two parts. One is acid part and another one is base part. What is acid part? Chloride, which is obtained from the hydrochloric acid. So name of the salt consists of two parts. The first part of the salt is derived from the name of a base, and second part of the name is obtained from the acid. In a sodium chloride, sodium is obtained from a base, sodium hydroxide. The second part is obtained from acid. So hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid. Similarly, every chemical salt or salt contains two parts. One is acid part and another one is base part. The first part of the salt is referred base. Second part of the salt is referred acid. Great. For example, the name of a salt called sodium chloride comes from sodium hydroxide and the hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid. So please note that based on the acid, so if the acids are reacts with some bases, salts are formed. Based on the acid involved in a neutralization reaction, salts are formed. They are given name as salts. The salts of hydrochloric acid, are called chlorides. So hydrochloric acid react with sodium hydroxide is sodium chloride. So it is a chloride salt. Similarly, examples: calcium chloride, zinc chloride, and zinc chloride. So sodium chloride formed already we discussed. Then coming to sodium calcium chloride. So HCl plus calcium hydroxide combined together forms calcium chloride and water obtained from HCl, hydrochloric acid. Similarly, zinc chloride. So zinc chloride is obtained from hydrochloric acid. Then coming second, the salts of sulfuric acid. Called sulfates. For example, sodium sulfate. If sulfuric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide, it gives sodium sulfate plus water. So the sodium sulfate is obtained the reaction between sulfuric acid and the sodium hydroxide. So obtained from sulfuric acid, so it is named as sulfate. So sulfate salts. Then coming to the salts of nitric acid are called nitrates. The salts of nitric acids are called nitrates. So for example, HNO3 is a nitric acid. This nitric acid is combined with sodium hydroxide gives us sodium nitrate plus water. Sodium nitrate. Similarly, potassium nitrate. These nitrates are formed because of nitric acid obtained from nitric acid. So these are called nitrate salts. Then one more. The salts of carbonic acid. Are called carbonates. The salts of carbonic acid are called as carbonates. So for example, sodium carbonate. So H2CO3 is a carbonic acid. This carbonic acid is combined with sodium hydroxide. It gives Na2CO3 plus water. So carbonic acid, sodium hydroxide. So together called sodium carbonate. So So this carbonate is obtained from carbonic acid. Carbonic acid. Similarly, calcium carbonate. Similarly, calcium carbonate. Then the salts of acetic acid. The salts of acetic acid are called acetates. The salts of acetic acid called acetates. Acetates. So here, right. So CH3 COOH. Nothing but vinegar. Nothing but vinegar acetic acid. This acetic acid reacted with sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. It gives CH3COONA plus water. So here this CH3COONA is called as sodium acetate. The CH3COONA is called as sodium acetate. Sodium acetate means the salts which is formed from the different types of acids. So the salts are considered as if it is hydrochloric acid called chlorides, sulfuric acid sulfide, nitric acid nitrates, carbonic acid are carbonates, and acetic acid are acetates. Called as acetate. So observe these are all examples. These are some examples for chemical salts. So every chemical salt is formed between the reaction between acid and base. Acid and base. So a salt consists of two parts. One is acid part, another one is salt, base part. So in a salt, the first part is refers to base. The second part is refers to acid. So sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate. This sodium carbonate. So sodium is the first part. Is referred is sodium hydroxide. Carbonate, the second part, refer carbonic acid. So in this way, a chemical salt consists two parts. One is acid part, another one is base part. The first part of the salt is referred base, the second part is referred acids. So this is one classification of salts. One of the classification of salts. So salts are usually soluble in water. These are ionic compounds. Salts are ionic compounds. Ionic compounds. Salts are ionic compounds. So you will learn what are ionic compounds in coming chapters, right? So these are soluble in water. Soluble in water. So these salt solutions. Salt solutions are also good conductors of electricity like acidic and basic solutions. So as you learned in class 8, acid base salts are the poor conductors. When they are dissolved in water, they become acidic solutions, basic solutions, salt solutions. So aqueous solutions are the solutions of acids, base and salts are the good conductors of electricity. Good conductors of electricity. Right? So every salt consists of a positively charged ion as well as negatively charged ion. So due to the combination of positively charged ion and negatively charged ion, so these are called as the ionic compounds. These are called as the ionic compounds. So for example, consider sodium chloride. It has Na plus Cl minus ion. So and if we take one more example, sodium nitrate. sodium nitrate Na plus NO3 minus. So K plus NO3 minus, right? Calcium Ca plus 2 CO3 minus 2, right? Ca3 COO minus and Na plus. See, observe that every chemical salt has two ions. One is positively charged ion and negatively charged ion. Positively charged ion can call as cation. Can call as cation. So positive charge you can call as cation. Negative charge you can call anion. So every chemical salt contains two types of ions. One is positively charged ion, another one is negatively charged ion. Positively charged ion is called cation. Negatively charged ion is called anion. So due to this combination of ions, a salt is applied, a compound is applied. So these are called ionic compounds. So salts are the ionic compounds because of they are obtained from ions. So this is about salts, right? So let us take some other another examples for salts which cannot referred here. Aluminium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate. Calcium sulfate already wrote here, right? Calcium sulfate already wrote. Sodium nitrate, aluminum sulfate, zinc sulfate, ZnSO4. Then zinc carbonate. So ZnCO3. Copper sulfate, CuSO4. Iron sulfate or ferrous sulfate or ferric sulfate, iron sulfate, FeSO4. Observe these all examples of chemical salts. The salts having the same positive ions or same negative ions are said belongs to a family. Same type of positive charges or same type of negative charges. So for example, in sodium chloride and sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate, sodium sulfate, sodium chloride and sodium carbonate. See, sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, sodium acetate. Right? Sodium acetate, sodium carbonate, sodium nitrate, sodium sulfate, sodium chloride. In these examples, what is the common positive? What is the commonly positively charged ion? Sodium. What is the commonly the positive ion is sodium. So sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium phosphate, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate bicarbonate, sodium acetate are under the sodium family salts. Sodium family salts. So, or simply they are called as sodium salts. Sodium salts. So, sodium salts examples. Sodium salts examples. What are they? Sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, sodium acetate. Similarly, calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, calcium carbonate, calcium bicarbonate. So these all are the calcium salts. Calcium salts. So zinc chloride, zinc carbonate, zinc sulfate. These are the zinc salts. Aluminium sulfate. Similarly, aluminium chloride. These are aluminium family. So like copper sulfate, copper chloride, copper carbonate. So these are the copper family. So iron sulfate, iron chloride. So these are the iron family. Right? So potassium, aluminum salts, copper salts, aluminum salts, chloride salts, sulfate salts, nitrate salts, carbonate salts and acidic salts. So based on the type of charged particle, either positive charge or negative charge. If it is considered as the positively charged ions, we can call it cations. So different chemical salts containing same cation is one family. Same anion is one family. For example, sodium salts are discussed. Sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, sodium acetate. These are all sodium salts. See, sodium chloride, calcium chloride, zinc chloride, aluminium chloride, copper chloride, right? These are chloride salts. Similarly, sodium sulfate, calcium sulfate, potassium sulfate, ammonium sulfate, aluminium sulfate, copper sulfate, iron sulfate. These are sulfate family. So these are based on anion. So sodium chloride, sodium phosphate, sodium acetate, sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate. These are sodium salts based on cations. So based on same type of cations, based on the same type of anions, so salts are classified. Right? So based on this, can we say what are the acids and what are the bases are present in the chemical salts? Yes, we have to say sodium chloride, we have discussed hydrochloric acid, sodium hydroxide. Calcium chloride, hydrochloric acid, calcium sulfate. For example, potassium sulfate or zinc sulfate. Zinc sulfate, what are acid and what are which is acid base? Zinc sulfate another. So sulfuric acid plus zinc hydroxide. Sulfuric acid and zinc hydroxide together form zinc sulfate. Magnesium oxide, magnesium hydroxide and sodium sulfuric acid. Copper sulfate, copper oxide, copper hydroxide, CuOH and sulfuric acid. So whatever a salt is formed by the combination, the salts are generally formed when an acids reacts with the bases in a neutralization reaction. A chemical salt is obtained. So a chemical salt is consists two parts, acidic part, basic part. Acidic part and basic part. Right. So let us discuss pH. Let's discuss the pH of salts. What is the pH? Generally we know to know the strength of acid and base. A scale used for to know the strength of acid and bases. Acids and bases. So a salt is formed by the reaction between acid and base. Acid and base. So let us take pH of salts. pH of salts. pH of salts. As earlier we discussed, through the aqueous solution of many salts are neutral. Though the aqueous solutions of salts in water is neutral, they have pH 7. So neutral substances has pH is 7. But some salts produce acidic or basic solutions when dissolved in water. So some of the oxides, some of the chemical substances are behave as both acid and base. Such substances are called as amphotic substances are oxides. The nature of substances are called as amphotic. Example for amphotic substances. Amphotic substances means they behave as an acid, they behave as a base. Examples: water. It reacts with the bases and it reacts with the acids. Right? Aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide is a amphotic substance. Similarly, or amphotic salts. Sometimes we call it amphotic salts. So, zinc oxide is amphotic. Then beryllium oxide is a amphotic salt. So lead oxide, PbO. So lead 2 oxide. So this Roman 2 indicates lead oxidation state or valency. So PbO2, lead dioxide. So this is lead 4 oxide. This is not lead oxide only. Similarly, iron oxide, Fe3O4. Iron oxide. Fe2O3 also. Fe2O3. So in this way, so they act as a both. They act as both. They have both nature. So means they behave as a base. They behave as acid. So such are called as amphotic salts. Dual nature. Two sides. Some persons acting appears single but behave a dual behavior. Some persons have dual behavior. Similarly, some chemical salts or some chemical substances also have dual nature, acts as a base and acts as a salt. Right. So let us discuss the pH of salts. salt solution, for example, sodium chloride solution. Sodium chloride solution, pH is 7, whereas aluminium chloride solution, its pH is 6. Sorry, ammonium chloride pH is 6. Sodium carbonate solution, its pH is 9. So here it acts as a neutral. It is acid and it is a base, or simply we can call as alkaline or alkali. So the water soluble bases are called as alkals. See, sodium chloride salt, ammonium chloride salt, sodium chloride salt. These salt solutions are all are the salt solutions, but their pH is different. Sodium chloride 7 neutral, ammonium chloride solution 6 acid. So below or less than 7, below 7 acidic nature, as I already discussed. Sodium carbonate solution 9, more than 7 bases. So even they are the base, even though they are the salts, but some of the salts are behave acts as a neutral. Some are acidic nature, some are basic nature. So let us discuss why these are behaving like that. So as earlier we discussed, a salt is formed by the reaction between acid and base. Right? So the acidic nature and basic nature of salt solutions can be explained on the basis of hydrolysis of water. So hydrolysis of salts. Right. Whatever. The salts of strong acids. The salts of strong acid, and strong base is neutral. If a chemical salt is formed by the reaction between strong acid and weak acid, so strong acid and strong base, So example, HCl, strong acid as we know, plus sodium hydroxide, strong base. Why? If hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid, it dissolves in water, it completely ionized and give huge number of H plus ions. Similarly, when sodium hydroxide is dissolved in water, it completely ionized and gives maximum number of OH minus ions. So if any acid gives maximum number of H plus ions, it is considered as strong acid. If any base gives maximum number of hydroxide ions or OH minus ions, it is strong base. So HCl plus NaOH is sodium chloride plus water. So this is a neutral salt. Right. Next one. The salts of strong acid and weak base. The salts of strong acid and weak base is acidic. Strong acid, weak base. Examples: hydrochloric acid HCl plus hydrochloric acid plus ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide. HCl is a strong acid. Ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide. So here aqueous solutions only you have taken aqueous solutions. Aqueous solutions. So react together gives us ammonium chloride plus water. This is ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride. Strong acid. Weak base. Ammonium chloride. Just now we discussed ammonium chloride. pH is 6. pH is 6. So less than 7. Below 7 is an acid. Below 7 is an acid. Ammonium chloride is a salt. Ammonium chloride is salt, but it has acidic nature because it is obtained by strong acid and weak base. Strong acid and weak base. Then coming to next one. The salts of weak acid and strong base. Weak acid and strong base is basic. Weak acid, strong base. Weak acid and strong base. Example: sodium hydroxide plus carbonic acid. So all are aqueous solutions. So in the aqueous solutions only they divide into ions. So positively charged ions combined with positively charged ion combined with negatively charged ion. So that's why salt is formed. So sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Carbonic acid is a weak base. So together form sodium carbonate plus water. Sodium carbonate is a salt, but it has basic nature. Because of it is obtained from strong base like sodium hydroxide and weak acid carbonic acid. Or so if you take acetic acid. If you take acetic acid also produce. Then last one, the salts of weak acid and weak base. Weak acid and weak base is neutral. Or they are neutral. Example: this ammonium hydroxide plus say carbonic acid. And ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. Carbonic acid is a weak acid. Together NH4 CO3. NH4 taken twice CO3 plus 1. So ammonium carbonate is a salt neutral. Because of weak acid, weak base are combined together. Simple. If any sports the two teams are very strong, then the play in the game is very interesting, right? If one team is strong, one team is weak, then what will happen? Generally, whatever the team is win, but generally, mostly we have prefer the strong one only. We have prefer the strong one only. So, this is about the introduction about the salts. Introduction about the salts and examples for salts based on their positively charged ions, negatively charged ions, but cations and anions classified as category wise. Cation category and anion category. pH of salts. pH of salts. So observe these all are chemical balanced chemical equations are not. Balanced chemical equations are not. Sodium carbonate 2NaOH, 2NaOH, H2O, here 2H2O is liquid. So it is an aqueous solution. The aqueous solution. Strong base, strong acid. So in this way, salts are formed due to the reaction between acid and base. So the nature of the salt depends on, is it neutral, acidic or basic? Depends on what type of acid and what type of bases react together. So right, next let us discuss about some familiar chemical salts, their properties, their uses, one by one. So the first one is common salt. The first one is a common salt. The first one is a common salt, sodium chloride. We know about sodium chloride, NaCl, sodium chloride. The common salt is a white powder. Common salt is a white powder used in preparing food. Food enriches the taste of the food. We know that, especially vegetable and pulses. Common salt, in generally common salt or sodium chloride, generally called in our dialect salt. Generally called salt. How this obtained? By the reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide forms sodium chloride and water. Sodium chloride and water. So every time write aqueous solution, then aqueous solution liquid and liquid. Right. Generally, how common salt is obtained? Generally, we get from the seas and ocean. When so common salt from sea. Sea water contains many dissolved salts. We know very well. The major salt present in sea water is common salt, sodium chloride. Common salt is obtained from sea water by the process of evaporation. So this is done as follows. Sea water trapped in large shallow pools and allowed to stand there. So allow the sea water in the what we can say like a fields. So like the shallow pools. So allow the salt water or allow the ocean water or sea water in that due to the sun. All the water is evaporated. Then finally, common salt is formed as crystals. So we know very well about it. Then common salt from underground deposits. Common salt is obtained from underground deposits. Underground deposits of common salts are found in many parts of the world. The large crystal salt of common salt found in underground salts. Underground salt. So that's why the sodium chloride is also called as rock salt. The sodium chloride is also called as rock salt because of mostly it is obtained from the underground. From the underground. Rock salt is mined from the underground. Deposits just like a coal. Deposits like a coal. This happened very long years ago. The water evaporated from the seas and the oceans. So they are formed. The rock salt which is dug out from the earth was formed with the ancient seas dried up by evaporation thousands of years ago. Then uses of common salt. What are raw material for making a large number of useful chemicals industry such as sodium hydroxide. So common salt is used in manufacturing of sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, etc. Sodium carbonate, next can say that hydrochloric acid are also obtained from sodium chloride. Then common salt used in cooking food. Common salt is used in cooking food. We know everyone. So it improves the flavor of food. Sodium chloride is required by our body for the working of nervous system, the movement of the muscles, and the production of hydrochloric acid in the stomach for the digestion of food. Brine solution. Do you remember that brine solution? Brine solution is nothing but aqueous solution of sodium chloride. Saline bottle consists sodium chloride solution. So that sodium chloride solution is called as brine solution. Common salt is used in the manufacture of soap. Common salt is used to melt ice which collects on the roads during winter in cold countries. Common salt is used as preservatives in pickles and in curing metal and fish. Curing meat and fish. So food preservative to give the flavor of the food, to manufacture of various chemical substances, and also used in manufacture of soap, and also used for melting of ice. So these are the some chemical some points regarding the common salt. Chemical form common salt. Now let us discuss what are the chemicals are obtained from common salt. Just now we discussed what are the chemicals are obtained from common salt is sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, hydrochloric acid, etc. How these are prepared from the sodium chloride or from the common salt. So first one, sodium hydroxide. So this is also called as caustic soda. This is also called as caustic soda. So potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide is called caustic potash. Caustic potash. So very important ones. Caustic soda, sodium hydroxide, caustic potassium hydroxide. Both are bases. Sodium hydroxide is commonly known as caustic soda. Just now I told you. The chemical formula is sodium NaOH. Sodium oxide is very important basic chemical substance. Is used as a starting material for making many chemical substances. So it is used in many industries and hence produced on a large scale. So how this sodium hydroxide is prepared? Production. The raw materials for production of sodium hydroxide is sodium chloride or the common salt. Sodium hydroxide is produced by the electrolysis of concentrated aqueous solution of sodium chloride. Concentration of sodium chloride generally we can call as brine solution or simply called brine. Just now I told you. Aqueous solution of sodium chloride is called brine solution or simply called brine. So when these concentrated sodium chloride undergo an electrolysis reaction, sodium hydroxide is obtained. So sodium chloride plus water electrolysis. Electrolysis means passing electricity through the solution and the solution of the compound dissociate into ions. So how this form? NaOH plus Cl2 plus hydrogen. It is aqueous solution. A gas is obtained. It is a liquid and it is an aqueous solution. So balance the chemical equation are not yet checked. 2 right here 2 then 2. Now this is balance the chemical equation. So during electrolysis of brine solution we get the sodium hydroxide. So what happened here Na plus and Cl minus ions are formed. Here this water contains X plus and OH minus ions are formed. So this Na plus is combined with sodium hydroxide and these are formed near the electrodes. So via electrolysis of common salt we get sodium hydroxide. So during electrolysis chlorine gas is produced at the anode. What is anode? The electrode which is connected towards the positive terminal of the battery. So let us take for example like this. Brine solution positive negative. So this is called anode and this is called cathode. One is called cathode and the one is called anode. Right? So the electrode or the metallic rod or the carbon rod which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery can call as anode. The electrode which is connected to the terminal of the battery called as a cathode. So during the electrolysis of brine solution, nothing but the aqueous solution of sodium chloride. So chlorine gas is obtained near the anode because Cl minus. Negative charged ions are attracted towards the anode. Positively charged ions are attracted towards the cathode. Then the remaining is formed. Sodium hydroxide solution is formed near the cathode. Sodium hydroxide solution is formed near the cathode. All the products of electrolysis of sodium hydroxide, sodium chloride solution is chlorine, hydrogen and sodium hydroxide are collected separately and stored separately. So by the electrolysis of common salt, aqueous solution of common salt, we get three products. One is sodium hydroxide or caustic soda, chlorine gas, hydrogen gas. Chlorine gas and hydrogen gas. So these are the three products are obtained by the electrolysis of aqueous solution of sodium chloride or common salt. So these are collected separately and stored separately. The process of electrolysis of sodium chloride solution is called chloroalkali process. This process, the electrolysis of sodium chloride, aqueous solution of sodium chloride or common salt is called as chloroalkali process. Chloro means chlorine, alkali and a base is obtained like sodium hydroxide. The three very useful products obtained are brine or process, sodium hydroxide, chlorine and hydrogen. So uses of sodium hydroxide. So we discussed how the sodium hydroxide is obtained by the process of electrolysis of aqueous solution of common salt. Uses of sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide used for making soaps and detergents. Sodium hydroxide used for making soaps and detergents, and also used for making artificial textile fiber like rayon, used in the manufacture of paper. Sodium hydroxide used in purifying bauxite ore and bauxite ore consists of aluminium metal. To extract the aluminium metal from its ore, bauxite, sodium hydroxide is used in various processes. Sodium hydroxide used in degreasing metals, but oil refining and making dyes and bleaches. Making dyes and bleaches and bleaches. So soaps of detergents getting aluminium from its ore, dyes, synthetic fibers. In those sodium hydroxide is used. Then one more product is chlorine. One more product obtained from the electrolysis of common salt, aqueous solution of common salt or brine solution. Chlorine used to sterilize drinking water supply and water in swimming pool. This is because chlorine acts as a disinfecting agent. So chlorine is used in sterilize the water. Used in the production of bleaching powder. Chlorine is used in the production of bleaching powder. bleaching powder. Bleaching powder. Production of hydrochloric acid. Chlorine also used in the production of this hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid production. So chlorine is used. PVC, polyvinyl chloride. PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Polyvinyl chloride, a kind of plastic. In manufacture of PVC pipes or PVC polymer, so chlorine is used. And chloroform. Chloroform is a, what we can say that used as anesthesia substance. Right? So carbon tetrachloride, which is used in dry cleaning centers, paints and dye cuts. Chlorine is used for making solvents for dry cleaning such as tetrachloroethene, CCl4. Then uses of hydrogen. What are the uses of hydrogen? So hydrogen used in the hydrogenation of oils are obtained from solid fats called vegetable ghee and making vanaspati. So vegetable oil is converted into vanaspati. So in this process hydrogen gas is used. So hydrogen is used in the manufacture of hydrochloric acid. Hydrogen is used to make ammonia for fertilizers. Ammonia, in a manufacture of ammonia, which is a fertilizer, ammonia or hydrogen is used. Then liquid hydrogen is used as a fuel for rockets. Hydrogen liquid used as a fuel for rockets. So in future, so hydrogen gas or hydrogen used as a fuel in coming days. Right. So these are about the uses of hydrogen. Then uses of hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid used for cleaning iron sheets before tin painting or galvanization. Hydrochloric acid used to clean the iron sheet before giving tin coating or the galvanization. Hydrochloric acid used in the preparation of chlorides such as ammonium chloride, which is used in dry cells. Hydrochloric acid used in medicines and cosmetics. Hydrochloric acid is used in medicines and cosmetics. Hydrochloric acid used in textile, dyeing and textile industry. Hydrochloric acid used in making plastics like PVC, polyvinyl chloride. The two products of chloro-alkali process, sodium hydroxide and chlorine combined together. So in chloro-alkali process, what is chloro-alkali process? So production of sodium hydroxide, chlorine and hydrogen by the electrolysis of brine solution. In this process, two substances are obtained, sodium hydroxide and chlorine. So sodium hydroxide and chlorine are combined together. They form a new substance. They form another chemical substance called sodium hypochlorite. NaClO. Sodium hypochlorite. So during the chloro-alkali process, the two products are obtained, sodium hydroxide and the chlorine combined together and gives a new chemical called sodium hypochlorite. Is a bleaching agent. is a bleaching agent. It is a bleaching agent. Sodium hypochlorite is a bleaching agent. Used in making household bleaches and for bleaching fabrics. For household bleaches and bleaching fabrics, this sodium hypochlorite is used. Sodium hypochlorite is used. So these are one of the product obtained from sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. Right? So later we will discuss another products obtained from the sodium chloride. So already we discussed what are the products are obtained: sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, then bleaching powder, and another salts are there: plaster of Paris and crystallization of salts. So 2 or 3 topics are there. So later we will discuss about the remaining salts in coming sessions. So thank you so much. So regularly watch the videos, like the video, share the channel with your friends, and as they subscribe. So if you are not subscribed, so please you also subscribe the channel. So thank you so much.